we're just jumping in. There's a lot of movie news. There's a lot of movie announcements because the SAG actor strike is over. So now the writers are back in, the actors are back in. I mean, who knows what Disney's going to do, because I think the VFX people, they're still sorting that stuff out. But for all the non-Marvel stands, we're doing good. We're back in business.
They're still announcing Marvel stuff, but I think what they've been doing, which is smart, is they've been taking a step back and like cutting, like moving things back and like not rushing everything, which they were doing before. So like, yeah, the quality had dipped a lot and everyone noticed. I mean, they're all saying a lot of that stuff in that, article that we had talked about. They all were saying that that's not, necessarily true, but who knows? It sounds like it's still a shit show, but at least they're fucking cutting back on the amount of properties we're getting out of them. But they're still talking about some stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like that article got a lot of attention. And I feel like whenever some news stuff gets a lot of attention, it's only a matter of a time before the that article comes out. So
Well,
who
the
knows
Marvel people are like, that's not really how it is. And I'm like, well, where's the VFX people? I feel like they back this shit up.
Yeah.
But like, so I mean, maybe some of it's true and maybe not all of it is. Like I did hear some of the rumors of like the like supposed stories that were proposed for Blade were not true, like that it was a female focused like superhero movie, that wasn't true. And I was like, okay, that's good at least, like that, because that would have been just way out of left field. And I'm like, what are they doing over there? They just fucking throwing darts on a board and putting things together. Like that felt really weird.
I want like a documentary of what
There will
happened
be.
on the Blade set, because like when I saw the headline months ago that like they fired the entire crew, I'm like, what is going on?
like Marvel Civil War. That's the name of your documentary right there. This whole thing is just cracking from the inside out.
What?
But
we're not a Marvel channel,
we're not
but we'll
Marvel
talk
fans.
very briefly about it. On Blade, I am very, very happy that they finally confirmed it's going to be rated R, because when we talked about it a year ago or something, when they announced Blade, I'm pretty sure I remember me saying, if it's not rated R, I'm out. Because
I send it back.
Like, yeah. Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, thanks. No thanks. Take it back right now.
It's like Wesley Snipes was so good. You have to make it R. It has to be violent. And just
We got
there's
Mahershala Ali, he's great. He's gonna be a good, like he's the only person that I'm like, oh, okay, I could maybe see it, I could definitely see it.
He's gonna be great. And then our girl from Pearl, she's in it also.
Yes, Mia Goth.
Yeah.
Our girl from Pearl. What are you making a rhyme over there? Yeah, Mia Goth, our queen. She's gonna be a vampire, shockingly, and I'm super excited for that. I'm like not like really that into all the Marvel stuff, but like I am glad to hear that they're like pulling things back and taking a lot longer. And like, I mean, they're still doing reshoots on things, and whatever, but it's like, I feel like that's just,
that's part of the deal.
That's part of the deal. That happens with most movies, I would imagine. But, I'm sure that it's also part of the fact that they're like part of Disney. But there's also been some really fun things like outside of just like movies announced that I just wanted to mention before we get into some of our other like exciting like movies that were mentioned. Is I think I sent you the video of Adam Ferrari at like a screening of Ferrari. Adam Ferrari. Is that what I just said? Excuse me. Let me redo that.
Driver, Ferrari. It's all good.
So dumb. That is actually pretty good though.
Adam Ferrari.
I mean, driver. It makes sense. No wonder he's in the movie. Oh my god. Thank you, brain. He apparently like he's at a Q&A like with fans, which I don't even know. I feel like they should screen these questions.
This is for the movie Ferrari, right?
Yes. Sorry, I really should start this all over. But yes, Adam Driver was at a screening of his new movie Ferrari, and I don't know what it's about. I'm assuming the Ferrari, like how that came to be. Fuck if I know. I haven't seen.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's something else. But this fan was just like asking him this stupid fucking question that was really more of a comment, and was like, "What do you think about the fact that I thought these stupid idiot things about action sequences?"
About flash scenes, they look pretty harsh, drastic, and I must say, cheesy for me. What do you think about them?
You, I don't know.
Next question.
in the movie, which is like, well, I didn't fucking do it. So first off, but he just literally said, fuck you. I don't know. What do you like? What do you want? And then he was like, next question.
He's like, I'm
yeah.
not acting in the crash sequences.
Yeah, literally, like, first off, it's just, and he's not the director. He doesn't do the special effects or anything, like the way that it's shot. And it's like, also, why the fuck would he give a fuck about your stupid opinion? I just feel like they should have somebody screening these fan questions. That just seems crazy that some idiot like that would be able to ask a question of Adam Driver. He should be respected more.
Well, I mean, so I'm going to actually go the opposite direction of you on this. I loved this because it reminds me of the post-game interviews for sporting events. And it's like somebody will lose, a team will lose real bad, and they'll talk to the quarterback. They're like, so how do you feel after losing that huge game? And they're just like, feel pretty bad. It's like, it's great moments of just like, I hate, you're an idiot for asking me, but I have to answer. So I don't feel good.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I loved it for that.
That's what this reminded me of, but with movies. And I'm like, yeah, let's get some sports reporting, stupid shit. But like, let's get it in movie interviews.
I mean, they get it. There's a lot of stupid questions.
Adam Driver, what did you think about the one part of the movie that you had no involvement in? What are your thoughts?
You were the actual person in the car, right? It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? I'm just saying that, like, I mean, I'm glad that it gave us this wonderful moment. And I bet you every other actor's like, I need to do that next time and ask the stupid question. Because, like, fuck you. I don't know. It's just the best answer.
Well, and this is the entire reason that they ask these stupid questions, is to get annoyed reactions from actors. That's why they do it in sports.
I know, but it's just like, come on, they're human beings. They're not like animals at the zoo. Like, you got to throw something at them so they like throw their feces or whatever, you know. I'm just saying.
Do you think that animals throw their poo because you throw something at them? Renee, you're doing zoos all wrong.
I don't know. You don't go to the zoo and throw your shit at the monkeys? That's how I started the fucking fights every time. Those fuckers are always down to play.
Next time we're in the same city, we're going to the zoo together. I need to see this firsthand.
Oh, yeah. See if you can keep up, Jace. It's pretty crazy.
I'll just lean over to Nolan.
Wear a raincoat.
Whoa.
Oh, boy. But anyways, let's get back on track.
On to other announcements. Since most of the industry is back in order, there's been just a slew of movie announcements. And that's really what today's episode is just all of the announcements of upcoming movies, many of which we are very, very excited for.
Well, I mean, we couldn't not be excited at this point. I think we're excited about movies in general. I'm just excited, and especially after a period where there's like, it's uncertain when they're going to come back. The fact that they're back, it's like, movies are back, baby. I just feel like a spring in my step.
Things are going to be real good until about this time next year, when there's no new things coming out, or they're really rushed things. But
no, I know. Well, like, there's a lot of things that were like basically already finished or like almost finished. So like that just means that like some things that were going to be pushed back a lot might not actually be pushed back that far.
A little bit of post-production delay.
You're like, the glass is half empty. I'm like, it's half full, baby. They're back.
I'm hoping that the little drought happens in the summertime, because at least the sun is out then. But anyways, movie announcements. Big one that I really liked was Cloverfield 4 is confirmed, and it's the same director as the guy who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is the good sequel, not the Cloverfield Paradox things.
That doesn't even feel like a movie that's a part of anything, which sucks. Like, I just felt like, you know, the first one's so great, and then the second one's like so different, but like it's so great. And then it was like the third one, oh, they're in space. Okay, this might be interesting. Not at all. It was horrible. So like, I'm really like, I feel like the third one just really dampened my excitement for the Cloverfield franchise, because I'm just like, I don't know. No, the thing for me was that nothing was expanded on from either the first or the second movie. And that's what I would have preferred, instead of something new in the third one, is like a continuation of anything. Like, I just want more out of both of those stories. They were so good.
And if you remember, like the hype for Cloverfield Paradox was huge because it was
I don't
very
remember.
guerrilla. They did a trailer during the Super Bowl and they said that it's dropping after the Super Bowl. So they did one trailer during the biggest television event of the year and then they released it hours later. And
That's ballsy.
which is very Cloverfield because like the original Cloverfield, that's one of the greatest. Yeah, that's one of the greatest trailers of all time.
Yeah, because nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so
we saw that at Transformers. We were there at fucking midnight with our friends dressed up like idiots. But that was like, I remember seeing that trailer and it's like the fucking head of the Statue of Liberty, like just like flies past them and they're like screaming and then it just ends and you're like, wasn't there just a website? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, this is fucking nuts. It was just crazy, man.
So like the Cloverfield Paradox trailer was cool. You're like, oh, another Cloverfield movie. Oh my God, it's dropping tonight on Netflix. But I know what I'm doing after the Super Bowl. And then I did it and I hated myself.
I'm like, I feel like it sounds like, oh, that's pretty cool. They're trying to be like the original guerrilla style. But really, I think it was just like, this is our only hope with this movie. Like, I feel like we can barely stitch together a cohesive trailer that seems interesting. We're going to do that, and we're going to spend all of the budget to put it in the Super Bowl. Drop the movie an hour later. People won't have time to analyze the trailer. They'll be watching the game. Like, they won't have time to look at all this shit. They'll be able to just watch the movie, and then we got them. We've already got them. Like, you know, they can, at least that maybe they don't finish it, but I imagine that it was a last, like, resort kind of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it was not good, but I am
sure technically guerrilla, but I feel like that's what the cover story is.
But I'm very, very happy and very confident that I know I'm going to screw this name up, so correct me, Dan
Trachtenberg.
Thank you.
What were you about to say though?
It was
Trachtenberg.
I'm not going to say, but it definitely did not sound like trebuchet. But
trebuchet. Chase, you crazy.
But I loved 10 Cloverfield Lane. I thought it was so good. And in the same way that like the first Cloverfield is like, why did this movie need to be found footage? It's so good, but like, why did like it's such an interesting choice to do found footage. It was such an interesting choice to do this it's not a sequel, it's a paraquel, I guess, or I don't know, but to do it as like this suspense thriller, like, is this related to Cloverfield or is it not, or is it just the name? Like, and then you learn it is. So like really, really excited for that. And he also wants to do a direct sequel to 10 Cloverfield Lane. So
With the
far,
fourth movie or in addition to the fourth movie?
In addition.
So the fourth movie is probably not, I hope it's related to the first movie.
No, so the Cloverfield 4 will be a direct sequel to Cloverfield.
Cool.
So this will be the first direct sequel that we get. And then
finally
he then wants to do a direct sequel to 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Fuck yeah, get me all in on that. Yeah. Are you kidding? That's fucking exciting. Okay, I didn't really like, I didn't know all the details about it. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I mean, I think the third one, I was just like, okay, so this thing's officially off the rails. Like they don't know what, and I didn't even watch that, but I heard it was terrible. And I never heard anybody say, hey, you should watch that movie. Everyone said this movie is horrible. But if you want to like watch it for the end scene that involves Cloverfield, I guess you could watch it. And I did. It was stupid.
I think they're definitely going to retcon Cloverfield Paradox out. But man, I want to know how much money Netflix paid for the Cloverfield rights
like,
to the sequel.
The only thing we can do is take your entire budget and put one spot in the Super Bowl. 30 seconds. That's the most we could show of this movie before people are like, I don't think that looks very good.
But yeah, like
flashing lights will disarm them.
But yeah, so the guy, I mean, he has a solid track record. You know, he did 10 Cloverfield Lane. He did Prey, which you and I were both big fans of.
Yep.
He directed one episode of The Boys, and Black Mirror, so two of my favorite shows. So like I feel very comfortable and confident in this franchise going forward.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you got a little boner for this guy. I love it. I mean, I respect it. I also am very excited about this news.
Thank God this is an audio only format because
I feel like you have to say that all the time, and that really should concern people. If they're not concerned, you should be. I can actually see him.
These are our movie news
Movie
news
nude? Oh, God. I did not sign up for this.
Please subscribe to the regular exclusive
Yeah, go to the
OnlyFans.
YouTube
Who
if you want.
knows? Who knows what you're gonna get? Is it me? Is it Renee? You got to subscribe to know. But
Yeah. I'm gonna hire strangers to do it.
it's just me and Nolan.
No, I'm just gonna hire some old guy to sit. Actually, you know what? I'll just turn it over. I'll bring my cam to my dad and let him be on camera for 8 hours.
Now I'm uncomfortable. But anyways, next announcement is they announced a Black Phone sequel.
Yes, they did, which was a real shocker. At least I was shocked.
Yeah.
Were you?
I mean, kind of.
I mean, the movie ends with spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but the killer is dead. So what is this kid doing with the black phone again? You know? Is there another child murderer who's is he coming back? Is he supernatural? Is he Jason Voorhees now? I don't know. But I wonder if it'll be a prequel.
Well, the real question that I have that I can't find on a simple Google search is who is behind it? Is this Scott Derrickson?
He shared it, and the C. Robert Cargill, they co-wrote it together, I believe. They both shared it on Instagram. So I think they're doing it.
Okay, well, if they're doing it, which IMDb,
that's what I'm saying. I'm hopeful.
IMDb at the moment does not confirm that. If they're doing it, then I'm very excited. But if this is a Sinister 2 situation,
agreed. Yeah,
then
scary.
Yeah,
don't ruin it. Well, and also I wonder if Joe Hill is also involved because it's based on Joe Hill's story.
Short story.
Yeah, and he's Stephen King's son. So they're just hey, put some money into his son. I bet you that'll get you some IP. It clearly worked with the black phone. They're already trying to do a sequel.
It would be really interesting to either do a prequel where they bring Ethan Hawke back.
But then it's you just know a child's going to die at the end of it. And I don't know if anyone wants to watch that movie.
Yeah. If they go that route, they need to go full, even more rated R. They need to go Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill style. But
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the main thing for me is who's the team behind it. If it's the original team, I'm excited. If not, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. That'll be something we'll talk about. But actually, let's talk about another horror related title that got announced that blew my fucking mind because you sent it to me right when it was right when it came out, and I was I literally gasped and dropped my phone. I was so excited. They follow the sequel to fucking It Follows, not fucking It Follows, but just It Follows. And it's I just say fucking because oh my god, it's one of the best, one of my favorite movies.
And in line with the previous thing, it's the same writer director, it's the same lead, so it's a sequel.
Yep,
I'm assuming if it's the same lead.
It is. It's Mike. I think it's Maika. I don't know how to say her name. Maika Monroe. But she was so great in the first one. She's so great in so many things. I'm just obsessed with her. But David Robert Mitchell, I think, is the one who directed it and wrote it, and he's back. I want to know if the guys who did the music are back because that movie is just such a vibe. I put that on to go to bed. It's so relaxing. Not that I would really be stressed out, but I'm so curious about all the different things that we'll see this thing do in the next one because you never see it use transportation, but the director and writer has said it would get on a plane if it needed to. And I was just what the fuck would this thing do on a plane? And what would you do? You'd be so fucking there's no way you'd have to jump out of the plane.
Yeah. So for anyone who has not seen It
Sorry,
Follows,
yeah.
get your life together, because this
Yeah.
is like one of
Get out of
this is-
here, honestly. You're out. I kicked you out of this podcast. You can't even listen to it.
This is one of like the best horror movies in the last decade, last
time.
20 years, 20th century, 21st century. But
All-timer,
yeah,
honestly.
it's like we recently talked about, remixes to genres and how much we love those, and like It Follows is a really good remix of like a kind of curse horror
Like The Ring.
movie, like The Ring.
It's like The
where
Ring, but it's like after you have sex with someone, a walking demon will follow you and then fuck you to death. It's like so fucked, and I love it. It sounds like a ridiculous movie, which is why I didn't see it right away. And I don't know what was wrong with me, because then I saw it and I was obsessed with it. It's so good.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, who thinks "fuck you to death" maybe sounds intense, it doesn't show you any sort of actual fucking to death. It's implied.
There's like one scene, but yeah. It's not like you're watching like the fucking Blob or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's mostly in the shadows, and like if it does, like you just see like the aftermath, but it's really great.
It's really great. It's like once you have this curse, you just see this non-emotive person just walking towards you at all times.
People. Yeah.
And it's so good. This is probably going to be the most hyped up horror movie, whatever it actually ends up coming out, whether it's next year or 2026. But like, it's so good, and for it to get a sequel, like the hype levels are going to be through the roof.
Oh, I'm gonna die. It's gonna be so exciting. But it's just like there's so many good movies coming out, but They Follow, I think, is definitely, I can safely say, like my number one most excited. I'm most excited about that being announced. Like that's just, I don't need to know anything else, honestly, outside except for the music. That's all I want to know. But other than that, I'm those three things hit the mark. I'm good. I'm in.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the same composer, so you're probably going to be covered. If it's the original person or the original creator, original lead, yeah, they're going to bring everyone back.
You would think so, right? So, but there's also another one. There's another movie that already kind of has. It's not a franchise, I guess, but it's like a trilogy because there's three of them. But they were all released like within a week of each other. But they announced a new Fear Street movie, which is super exciting. But it's also a spin-off, so it's not directly related to like the trilogy of movies that dropped on Netflix over the summer. Was that last year, the year before?
All right, so I just watched the first one. So this fourth one, it's a spin-off. It's not part of.
It's a standalone Fear Street because there's like a bunch of novels, or like, so that's all like
there's like
R.L.
50
Stein.
of them.
Yeah,
This is like
50
Goosebumps.
Yeah. It's basically very much like that, but it's kind of like more like it's way darker and like more fucked up and like gory and shit. I would say maybe not from just watching the first one so far, but like talk to me after the next one and we'll see, because like that one really ups it a lot. But I really love these movies. They were fun. I liked that Netflix released 3 movies within a week of each other. It was like an event, and it was so much fun. I wish they did that all the time. But the fact that we're getting another one is a good sign, because then like maybe we'll get some other ones. There's a lot of books. I do want more from the Fear Street shit though. These movies are great.
Well, and the interesting thing is that these aren't like 45-minute long things. Like these are full-blown movies that they released a week apart. Like I love the Netflix reality shows, and they release those a week apart, but those are like 40 minutes. These are full-blown movies.
Yeah.
That are out there. And yeah, I just finished up the first one, and it's really good. Like I feel like these are kind of like the perfect like entryway into horror movies.
Yeah. They're like a little bit more than like a young teenager, though. I feel like they're a little bit more in the older teenager vibes, but like, because they do get a little bit more like intense as you go on. But like, even I would say they're like still like relatively teenage friendly.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I was 100%. Surprised like watching them, and then because they're rated R. So they're violent, they're gory, they're full blown horror movies. It's kind of it's kind of like if you mixed Scream with like The Haunting of Hill House, kind of vibe. Like
Mhm.
there's a supernatural thing to it, but like it's not like a really intense horror, scary kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I was surprised when I Googled it and I was like, these are R.L. Stine. So these
Yeah.
are like kids' books. I'm like, you adapted a kid's book into a rated R movie. I kind of respect it. And
Yeah.
like,
I think they're like
it's
young
really
adult
good.
technically. So that's I feel like they're like, kind of junior high, high school age is like
Yeah.
anywhere in there fits, but like definitely I feel like they kind of lean a little older, but like there's like a lot of kids in the cast of like both movies. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to feel about this because I feel like the next movie, like Sadie Sink from Stranger Things is in it. I also love that each movie is a different flavor. So like the first movie is totally Scream. Like it's a lot of
Yeah.
Scream, which is incredible. But then it does have like that supernatural element too. And kind of like it just has its own vibe. And then the second one is very much of like a summer movie from the 80s and like 70s and a killer at a camp. And it's like very similar to like Friday the 13th and shit, but it's really good. And then the third one is like The Witch or something. Like it's like old timey, all the way back in the 1600s, and it's about like the original witch who is supposedly the reason for all the shit in these movies. It's really cool how each one's got its own style, and I just like really respected that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very late to the party on them, but I'm kind of glad because now I don't have to wait so long for the next one.
I
But
know
they're
you've
really
got them
good.
all right in a row. That's kind of the dream, honestly. But they're very, very fun, and I just like was super excited that they announced that those movies were continuing
Yeah.
on because like I feel like it's been a while before they like since they came out and they didn't announce anything. And I'm like, I feel like Netflix will usually like cancel shit or say something pretty quick if they decide it's not working with the algorithm.
I mean, they must be very, very popular if Netflix is
Oh yeah.
committing to making 4 of these movies. Like,
I mean, they've made them. They literally filmed all of them back to back to back, just like Lord of the Rings. So I was like, I love to see a studio finally learning that lesson that I don't know why anybody else didn't ever learn. Because it's like it's so much better than if you do them like you. It's just too hard to do it when there's multiple. Like Harry Potter, it's
yeah.
like they grow up like 10 years between movies.
So another kind of horror thing, which I don't even really know if it's news, but like it's a funny idea. The director of the Chucky series, which I have not seen anything of, I heard it's okay. Um,
I haven't watched it
they
either.
they apparently have said that they want or to stay tuned to a potential Chucky Megan face off, Freddy versus Jason kind of thing.
I'm here for it,
Which
but
I would love it. 2 like dolls fighting each other. Megan would totally win because she's a robot. Chucky is literally a stuffed, possessed doll.
I mean,
But
I don't know. I haven't seen all the Chuckies, so I feel like I need to like finish all of those before I could really say. But like as much as Megan would totally win, and I'm all in for this because I love Freddy versus Jason. Like that was just some great shit. And I love the idea of more horror villains facing off against each other. This goes back to our villain draft. I just
mhm,
want to see that shit. However, I feel like Megan needs to have at least like 3 sequels first, 2 or 3 sequels before she gets the like versus treatment. Like there's so many other people. If you're gonna give that to somebody after movie 1, she's great, but like Gabriel from fucking Malignant, that guy came out of nowhere and he's only in like part of the movie. And it's like the best part, It's just like he just really was a superstar.
yeah, well, Gabriel doesn't have the box office draw. The thing that stuck out to me about this is that you're 100% right. Megan has only had one movie. It's one of the biggest horror movies this year, but the fact that it's the Chucky people that are saying that, maybe we'll do a crossover just screams to me that they really want a revival for Chucky. They are working so hard. Megan's like, I had a really good first movie. I'm
Yeah,
going to have a sequel and it's going to do great. Like, why do I need you, Chucky?
you're
Chucky's like,
so right.
Megan, please come fight me.
I've heard
You
that the
can
new
win.
show's good
We
though.
we don't have to do the Rock and Vin Diesel thing. Like, you can kill me. I'm okay with it. Just help me.
I don't care. Just fucking help. Pull me up, bitch. Like, just I really do love Chucky and would love to see him and Megan. Like, I feel like they would just not really fight even. They might just like fucking make love and make more of them, which would be horrifying. But another, I guess, horror thing. If unless you have a lot more to say about this potential spinoff.
No, take it.
Okay. I just wanted to say this before because what you just mentioned also reminded me of a point I want to make later, which is how studios suck. But we'll get there. Before that, I want to talk about why some studios don't suck, because there's creators like Mike Flanagan, who we just obviously love, which he joined.
Our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord. Yeah, sorry. I forgot to bless it with his name. He's now on Letterboxd, and it's just the greatest. He has a playlist on there that's like of horror movies, and it's called Mike's Likes. And I was just like, that's like his series, but he has like favorite horror movies, independent horror movies, his favorite best closing lines of all time. Like, I'm just like, I could spend hours reading all this. It's so great. And he's just amazing. But anyways, his next project is a Stephen King adaptation. And no surprise. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say he's the king of adaptation.
He is the king of adaptation.
I know it's been out for a little while, so we won't go into it, but I just wrapped up Fall of the House of Usher. And I feel like that is exactly like what adaptations are supposed to do. They're supposed to draw you into the thing they are adapting. And I am not a very smart person or literary person. I've never actually like read Edgar Allan Poe. That show made me like, I should read a little Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah. Oh, totally. He has a great way of doing that. Same with like Hill House and Bly Manor. I feel like what he does is like so cool, and I wish more other people did it, is that he's not afraid to like remix things and kind of like incorporate other stuff from the person. But it's almost like he's doing an homage to the person with their stuff. But he has a history of doing Stephen King adaptations that should be unadaptable, you know? Starting with like obviously Gerald's Game, which if you know that one, you're like, you get it. And then Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining that Stephen King hated.
That we talked about for like 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah, you guys know. And then his next movie is called The Life of Chuck, which is yet another should be unadaptable Stephen King story. And it's like, because it's weird in the way I love it, and it's perfect for Mike Flanagan. Just if you know his style, he'll nail it. But it's like literally a story that's like it's so short. It's a short story that came out a couple years ago, and it's like told in reverse, and it's like it's like the chapters don't directly lead into each other, so they're kind of just random stories, but it's all about like this one guy's life, and you start with like his death, and then you go to like a point in the middle of his life, and then to a point when he's a young child, and it's like told in reverse. It's very much like more of the like Stand By Me kind of a vibe, where it's not like horror Stephen King.
Okay, so it's not like told in reverse like Memento, where it's like brain damage, and that's how they illustrate the brain damage.
He does start off though with like an apocalypse, and the world's falling apart and everyone's dying. It's like this guy who's like, what's going on? And it's like, I think it's like it's a very cerebral kind of representation of what's going on in your mind when you die and all the power shutting off. So that's why I'm just like, I can totally see how Flanagan's going to nail that.
Oh, so the start is the apocalypse, and then it goes backwards,
and then it goes into like a random
leading up to
oh,
that's interesting.
So then it goes into like the random guy's life, and like you're like, what is this? And it's just this really great joyous moment just randomly on the street with a bunch of other people, and he has this great moment, and then you go back to like him as a kid with his grandma at a haunted house, and it's like so they're totally kind of unrelated. But like, so a lot of people were like, I don't get this story, I don't like it. And I'm like, well, try reading it in reverse. It does kind of help, I guess, if you do that. But it's also like the way that it starts hooks you in, because you're like, an apocalypse, what? And then this guy, and it's got Tom Hiddleston who's Mike Flanagan has cast, and they've already filmed the movie. So it's like coming out soon, hopefully.
All right. That sounds awesome.
It's going to be incredible. And just saying, Tom Hiddleston just was doing an interview probably about Loki, but they mentioned that he just was wrapped up shooting The Life of Chuck with Mike Flanagan, and he compared it to the fucking Shawshank Redemption. So just saying,
high praise.
That's high praise. I think that's That's going to be. I mean, it's a tough hill to climb, but I have no doubt that Flanagan can do it. In
I would love
Flanagan, we
to.
trust.
I would love to see a Flanagan Shawshank.
I mean, I would too, but I just after even
they would
reading
never
this,
do. They would never do it.
There's no
but,
point because he just nailed it. Like Frank Darabont just made it. It's the perfect movie. It's the number one movie I think on IMDb, unless something else has taken it. But it's I mean, it's
I think
just a movie that
2 took it.
Maybe you're right. I feel like you could just show it to anybody though, and they'd just be like, "God damn it, that's a good movie." Like it's just, it's like nobody would be like, "I hate this. It's horrible." Like you'd have to be a real sour person.
And that's my favorite movie to talk about, and then run into someone who doesn't know that that's a Stephen King story.
Oh, all the time. They're like, "I don't like Stephen King stuff."
Like, oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about The Green Mile. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk about Stand By Me. It's like, oh well, I like that one. It's like, well, that's Stephen King. What? It's like, because he's also like a lot. If you even read his books, like they're not all just like creepy monsters and murder and death. It's like he's amazing at like lulling you in and making this a great character and story and environment and everything, and then the shit happens. That's what. So he's a great writer, but people just they shit all over the horror genre, Jace. They're like me at the zoo with the monkeys.
It's the only genre of movie that requires courage. That's why people hate on it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. A movie announcement that you were shocked earlier. I was shocked by this movie announcement. Nintendo announced that their next movie is Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
This is shocking to me because you and I both loved Mario. It was a real good time. I would probably say Zelda is the next biggest IP that Nintendo has behind Mario.
I think you're right, since that's the next one that was announced.
But I thought they were going to hold Zelda in the back pocket with how successful Mario was. Also, Mario
also the wall.
Also, as we talked about, Mario doesn't have a ton of lore or even story.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda is nothing but lore and story.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to kind of tease people like, oh, here's Metroid Prime, here's a Mario sequel. But no, they're just putting their loaf out, and it's like, hey, here's Link and Zelda, and prepare for some sword fighting. I'm very excited for it because the Mario movie, the action sequences were way better than I was expecting. And
you clearly haven't been playing the games lately.
Okay, well, excuse me.
The movie was still amazing. I'm just kidding.
But Mario's jumping on stuff and throwing fireballs, but the action sequences were awesome in the movie. And Zelda's all action, so I wasn't expecting him to do it. I was maybe I don't know, the third, or Zelda was going to be their Avengers or something. I don't know, but
I don't think they've learned Marvel's lesson, which was let's do everything right away, and then where are we going to go from here? And now we're flailing, and we have to restructure everything. They're like, you know what? Let's do that. That works pretty well.
No, that's
flood the market.
That's DC's lesson.
Oh,
DC is let's start with the Justice League.
Yeah, you're right. It's don't we need something leading up to these people? I mean, but also it just feels like they're like, what are we going to do with all this money? We should probably just make more money, right? Yeah, fuck, that's all they're going to be doing. There's probably going to be at least 10 Mario movies. I'll be there to watch them all, but I'm just saying they know what they're doing.
I'll be there for the Mario movies. I'm there for all of them. The thing I'm not sure about is, apparently this is happening. They're co-doing it with Sony, and I've heard that it's going to be live action, in which case I don't love that. I would prefer for them to stick to the animation. Maybe this is a thing as I get older and I see stuff that I really loved growing up being made live action. Sometimes I just don't really want a live action.
Okay, Grandpa. I love all the live action, except for The Lion King. That one was kind of upsetting. But
let's maybe some things we just keep animated.
I agree. I agree. I totally understand. However, don't they want Hunter Schafer to play in it, which would just be incredible casting? When I looked at the photos of either I don't know who she would play, but Hunter Schafer from Euphoria.
I'm looking her up. To play Zelda?
I don't know who, but there was a picture comparing her. Maybe like I don't know who is there. Is Zelda the main character? Is there? Is that a girl or a boy?
Oh man, you don't even play.
I don't play Zelda now. Did I
Zelda
give
is the
myself away?
Zelda. You did. You just exposed yourself.
Asking for Zelda's gender.
The series is called Zelda, but Zelda is not the main character. Zelda
Well,
is the
excuse me.
princess. The main character is Link and always has been.
Oh, well, I know who Link is because there's like in the first Mario, you could play as Link on some levels. But anyways,
Okay.
I think she was gonna like she's the one that like everyone either she's been cast or like people are like or it's like rumored that she's going to play Zelda.
I could see her as a Zelda.
Yeah, she looks
Yeah.
perfect.
Because Zelda's not just a princess; she also is badass in a lot of
Good.
ways.
Good.
You never play as her, but yeah.
So like if that's the only thing going for it if it goes live action, I think. But either way, like I'm sure she could do a great voice performance. You know, worked for Mario, like you're Nintendo. I feel like all of your shit would be animated, but like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels like last time they tried to do and like real life shit, didn't it go terribly? I never even watched that old Super Mario movie.
Nintendo had nothing to do with that. They just sold the rights.
All right. Well, that makes me feel better.
The only reason I could imagine that they are doing
I was like, their track record is not good. If that's the case, that was like, I mean, they're great with animation. Stick in your lane, people.
No, Mario is when they kind of went Marvel style, where they're like, we're doing everything in house. We're not licensing this out to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I could imagine that they're going live action for Zelda is because the Illumination team is already totally busy doing the sequel to Mario.
Oh, they're going to be busy for the next 10 years, I bet. Yeah.
So
unless they triple their workforce, we might. I would hate. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel if we were getting 3 Mario movies a year. I still want them to make Mario games. You know, I don't want to kill themselves with the movies.
Yeah,
the movies are great, but I can't play it.
The movies are supplemental. Okay, let's keep the main thing going.
Yeah. Is this? Do you have any more movie news that you're excited about?
I don't know if I'm excited about it, but it's a weird movie. From A24.
Oh God, is it the one that we were just talking about that I mentioned? I forgot about it because I was trying to forget that it exists.
Do we want to tease it? Do you have anything else you want to talk about before that?
No, I have nothing else. That was the one thing on my list, but I just breezed past it like it didn't even exist because I'm so angry about the idea. Like we love A24 and we were like, they could do no wrong. Like fucking yes, queen. You know, we're all about it. And now this announcement made me really rethink my life choices.
So A24 in the last couple months has really gone through a weird transition for us as fans because like you said, you and I love A24, and then the announcement came out. It first started with A24 and Neon being the first people to support the Writers Guild and complying with all of their demands.
That cannot be the reason that this is happening.
No. But I'm saying that was peak. It's like, yes, these are the good studios. They're the only ones that are like, yeah, we'll give you what you deserve. And then the news came out that A24 starting to explore existing IP for movies, and we're like, oh boy, this has been the studio that's been doing the original stuff for a decade or however long.
They're going corporate, and I'm worried.
I don't know.
God, you can't keep up this business model, though. I bet it's hard when not all of them make a lot of money.
But the budgets are so low. I'm like, how are you not profiting on
Jace,
at least half of these?
Because they're probably just getting fucked in all these other ways. Because it's not fair. Business, that's why it's like everyone goes corporate because it's just going to be easier. They're going to need it. They're going to run out of money, I'm sure, if they keep doing. Bo is afraid probably to make fucking bullshit money.
It lost a lot of money.
But it's like I'm so fucking glad that movie exists, and if they're starting to do shit like this, we haven't even said what this news piece is because we're just so stressed about it. But I'll just get it out of the way. But I might throw up afterwards.
Well, here, so.
You say
before you I'll do it to save you. So they're going to do existing IP. So I mean, I would love to see a A24 style John Wick action movie. I'm all there for it. But this I don't know about. They announced they are doing a biopic, which is I think
biopic.
Is it not a biopic?
It's a biopic.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Okay.
Like a biography. Never mind. I like biopic sounds like optical like eye surgery. That's why I was
Okay.
like, that sounds serious. What the fuck is that? Okay, I'll say it then because you
Fine.
fucked it up.
You do it because apparently that's wrong.
I'm kidding. I'll let you fix it if you want to try it.
They're doing a biopic. That sounds real lame. Of Elon Musk.
At A24, I can't even believe that like you said that in the same sentence. And then Darren Aronofsky to direct, just even more controversial.
That's the weirdest part of all of this. Like, I get a studio wanting to do something around Elon Musk. He's the
No.
he's the most relevant person. I'm
Stop
not.
with the billionaire movies. I don't want to watch these billionaires and how. I mean, the only good one is
Are there
Social Network, and God damn it for making all these things a thing, because there's been a billion more.
are there other ones besides
There's like a
Social
bunch
Network?
of Steve Jobs ones. There's like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
they're
You're right.
coming
You're
out
right.
all
You're
the
right.
time about these smart assholes who are so
You're right.
rich.
Steve Jobs got like 3 movies
That's what I'm saying.
in 2 years.
These
Like,
guys aren't curing cancer. They're fucking making iPods. I just think it's not, it doesn't matter. I don't care how the billionaire made it. And especially Elon fucking Musk, unless this is like a joke, like if it's like a,
a
a
comedy.
parody kind of biopic, I mean, they exist. And like it could be like someone portraying him and like it's all like kind of just poking fun at him or like painting him in a bad light. Like I feel like it's
Like
got to be a
Weird Al
satire or something.
Yankovic.
Yeah, something. It's got to be something like that, or else I am just really going to be questioning what A24 is doing. Like, I'm watching what the fuck their project announcements are like. After this, that really threw me for a loop. I thought we could trust them, Jace. And I've just learned more and more as I've aged every day. I realize that you just can't trust fucking anyone. Nothing's going to be there. Everything's going to die.
You die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I don't want that to be true, but you're right. You're a fucking right, Jace.
The thing that's most confusing. I mean, you and I are not the biggest fans of biopics, but Darren Aronofsky doing this is odd because his lead in every movie dies. So, spoiler alert: Elon Musk is still alive.
I know, but we all know that like eventually he'll probably die on one of his crazy trips to like space or under the water, wherever the fuck these billionaires keep going. Honestly, keep doing it, guys. You could all die, and that would be wonderful for all of us, I feel. But yeah, I just feel like this is part of a bigger problem, like that I hope A24 will not like I trust them enough to like kind of still have hope that this could be like a joke on him or like it's not gonna be like, oh, he's the best. I feel like it's got to be satirical.
I don't know what's more disturbing, a normal Darren Aronofsky movie or a Darren Aronofsky comedy. I don't know if comedy exists in the lens of Darren Aronofsky. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. It'd be like Beau is Afraid kind of humor, where it's
but
like this is very uncomfortable. I'm feeling like every emotion on top of the humor, but I'm laughing as well. I just feel like, yeah, I mean, all the studios have problems, but like I'm holding out hope A24 doesn't go all the way because I feel like this could be really bad. And like Darren Aronofsky, just a controversial choice as the cherry on top of this weird announcement feels. I'm concerned, but
I can't imagine or even really think about who is the best casting for an Elon Musk. But can you tell me who you think would be the worst casting for an Elon Musk?
Mahershala Ali. Just since we were talking about how great he is, that would be very upset. You know who? I don't know who they should cast, but it should be somebody. Actually, people have said Kathy Bates would be perfect, and I kind of agree.
Oh,
There's like a season of American Horror Story where like I swear she had the haircut, and it was like she had the short dark hair, and you're like, oh, she's him, yeah, 100%. Like it was crazy. Like everyone's like, so if they get Kathy Bates in this, I'm in. Like, then I know it's a joke. I know, unless she's seriously playing him, which kudos. She's an incredible actress. She could do it. But I'm like, I would go nuts if that was a thing. But I feel like I've seen that on social media before.
I mean,
Like a lot.
Kate Blanchett has played a guy before.
Yeah, Bob Dylan, right?
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't be crazy, but like, I would just fucking go nuts. I'd be like, okay, I'm in to this movie now. You
All right,
know?
here's my worst casting.
Who is it? Oh, yeah, I didn't even ask.
Seth Rogen.
Oh, yeah.
Can
That
you
would
imagine
be.
Seth Rogen and his laugh, like working it into the socially awkward
I
Elon
would
Musk?
trust him even like, I mean, if they got somebody playing this serious, I'd be just so out. I don't know who, but like maybe the kid from The Good Doctor, because I already hate that guy. Not the
Oh,
actor, but like Freddie
Sarah
Highmore.
hates him.
I hate that show. Like it's so dumb, and all the clips that I've seen are just making it worse. So I feel like he could also do it because I hate him too. But if it's like a joke, I'm just holding out hope. We'll when that gets announced, maybe that'll be around the time we do another one of these, and we can just destroy their choices. But I think this is a good pivot story towards my main point or the ending point of this episode, which I think should just really overall be studios just fucking suck.
Yeah, let's talk about some studio stuff.
Because this was almost like, I mean, I won't say A24 sucks because we don't know anything yet. I'm one of those people who's like, I'm gonna wait to see what they're doing before I fucking judge it or make a
And
decision.
they've given us so much good stuff.
I mean, yeah, there's
that,
like literally
they've
no
got,
bad. Yeah,
yeah, they have more. We give them more credit than others.
exactly. So like, I'm still okay with that. Like, I have hope that it could be something good. But what was the main studio thing that you wanted to talk about? Because I know we both had items that were just like, fuck these guys.
Yeah. So the news that I thought was really interesting is Disney and Hulu are going to become one app. Disney is buying all the remaining stock in Hulu. So now it's just going to be absorbed. And so I don't know if Disney Plus is going to stay or if Hulu is going to stay or if they're going to call it Disney Lou. But
Yeah, I feel like Hulu is a better name for it because then it's also not like Disney. But like, I
maybe,
don't know.
well, the thing I didn't realize until I did a little bit of research, apparently Hulu is not a thing outside of the US.
Oh yeah, I think I knew that.
I didn't know that. So like anything that pops up on Hulu, like the horror movies or stuff that we have talked
Yeah,
about, that's on Disney Plus in other countries.
I guess
So
yeah. So that
I
makes sense.
I feel like they're going to keep the Disney Plus thing. But the thing that I thought was funny about this is I'm like, okay, so now the streaming platforms are really just, now we're in that point where they're becoming cable again, where
Mm-hmm.
streaming platforms are just buying each other, and rather than 10 different streaming platforms, we're going to have 3.
I
So
want a
it's like
Universal 3. That would be so much better. Although the fucking price per month's gonna go up like crazy. It's gonna be like $30 a month. It'll be fucking cable again.
and we're going to get less content because it's different studios. So like they got to spread out their manpower. So
Yep. Jeez, this is the thing. It's like it sounds convenient, but it's gonna be like it's just part of a bigger problem with I think is especially really bad at Disney and at Warner Brothers, which we'll talk about in a minute. But like these fucking corporate assholes who think that business and like money and like it's a product, like it's art, it's fucking art, and it shouldn't be like, I get that there's part of it that's commercialized, but like to take and destroy things that are holy and to make it so that we don't get things that are like I won't go see the next Scorsese movie just because I don't have 4 hours to kill, but like I also support the fact that he was able to get the budget to even release that movie because none of those studios would fucking do it, I bet.
and that movie's also not going to make its money back.
Exactly.
That's an award season movie.
Because it's not all about fucking making money, assholes. Life is about more than that. These movies that praise that life is more than money, then the corporations are like, fuck it, it's not. Life, like money is the most important. That's the lesson that you learn, is that these assholes have just got it all wrong.
Yeah. And there's nothing more true than how all of these streaming companies, they have all these exclusives that they refuse to sell hard copies of.
Oh, people get so mad. That's why Mike Flanagan left Netflix. He's like, fuck
Mhm.
you. Good for him. They're going to be
Netflix
so like
Netflix
fucked.
really screwed up because God, Fall of House of Usher was so good.
I know. It's
And
just like, God, what a great, like, fuck you guys, I'm out. You know, it's just like, just perfection. I love Mike Flanagan.
but what's this
The
Warner
bigger, yeah,
Brothers thing?
this is gonna piss you the fuck off. It pissed me off too, which I'm sure you already heard about, but like Warner
I think
Brothers.
I think I know of it, but I don't know much of it. So I need the details from you.
So basically, Warner Brothers, I mean, they've already showed their true colors because they did the same fucking shit to Batgirl, which, like, not like I'm like, oh my God, I have to see Batgirl, but like to
Is this another
fucking,
tax break?
yep, they're doing the tax write-off. So they shelved a Looney Tunes project, which is like the core fucking IP to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Just FYI, like fucking Bugs Bunny and shit. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? So they shelved a project, like a movie with John Cena. It was Coyote versus Acme. And it was a year after they started filming. The movie's like ready to go. And they just fucking like literally had to fucking like they canceled it. They said it was for the tax write-off, which just is like such bad PR. Like, why would you let that out? Who told that? Hopefully fucking someone, a whistleblower. But the update I wrote after having taken that note and like linked that article was that they have now announced that they're allowing the filmmakers who made the movie to shop that project off to other studios. So like they're letting go of that IP for like to another studio. They're not keeping it. And I also was just like, I mean, I guess bullying works, Fuck yeah. Like, let's do it. If it's bullying corporation, let's do it. I think that's good. But not people. I just want to clear that up.
Warner Brothers, I mean, yeah, whenever they merged with Discovery and just started doing these things, it's just like so weird because it's like they're not even trying to like make money off their stuff. They're just like, oh, these
Giving it away.
And it's like, or they're just like, we're just gonna throw these into the void. It's like they had all these HBO Max originals that didn't have hard copies, and they're like, rather than sell hard copies of these,
And
let's
make
just
money.
throw them away and never hear from them again. And it's like,
because
what?
exactly. They don't care about it. They think of it as a product and like as not as art, which is like all these people who make these things put their hearts and souls into it. Even if the movie isn't great, there's a billion people who worked on that thing and fucking worked really hard and probably didn't sleep for like 3 months to make
Yeah.
that thing. So it's like the fact that like after all that work is put in and then they just dumped it, you'd be like, oh my fucking God. And everyone was so pissed and calling them out. I mean, they lost Christopher Nolan pretty much right at the start of COVID, right? That was
Yeah.
like when they were like, we're going to
Right
release it
after
in
Tenet.
theaters and in streaming it on HBO Max. And he was like, no, I'm out. And like left and went to Universal.
Like Warner Brothers could have had Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I mean, and Barbie. They already had Barbie, but they could have had Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just telling that like I just can't believe that they would do that. And like it's just bad. All of it just shows that they're just I mean, it's David Zaslav, who's the guy who like is now in charge of everything, and he's just looking at it as expenses and is it making money? It's like the worst kind of corporate asshole. These guys shouldn't be in charge of what people want to see creatively and as movies, like art,
Yeah.
Even if it's entertainment, they should be locked up in an insane asylum.
Yeah,
Fuck that guy.
It's like maybe pull back a couple of your nature shows or home remodeling shows and put into the arts, like whatever. But
there's like a billion fucking spin-offs of 90 Day Fiance, but those are important. We need to keep those on the app. But Dr. Sleep, we can just dump it, put it back whenever it's Halloween, then we'll take it off again. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, and the funny thing is that they are just going to this. I think this is just going to perpetuate the problem of piracy. Because if you have all of these things that are locked behind a paywall that you can't buy physical copies of, people are just going to pirate them. Like, I don't want to pay for Max or for Netflix because I don't like a lot of their content.
Yeah.
A couple of their things are good, so I'll just pirate that. So they're feeding their own beast.
100%. That's what I'm saying. It's just so stupid. And like, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't even make sense for what they think that they're doing. And it just is such bullshit. And I hate the fact that there's assholes like that who can make decisions and fuck people over after they've done it all. Like, it's like, what is the problem with releasing it? Like, fuck, it's better. I mean, I guess tax write-off, but it's just like, that's just like the person that, I mean, he's going straight to the center of hell. That's all I gotta say.
The executives don't need the tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how much more fucking money?
Your shareholders can deal. Okay.
Exactly. Thank you. Fuck the studios. However, I'm glad that they've like reached a deal. I do know that there's more to do and that like they need to come a long way, but like at least we've gotten to a point where like they've hopefully made things better in like important ways, but hopefully it keeps going, because when you hear announcements like this, you're like, fuck, the world's over, Jace. It's gonna end any day now.
But we gotta hope for something good.
Just keep holding on.
In the meantime, that's movie news.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.